Welcome. My name is Susan Patterson. This is 2021, and I have spent the last 10 years teaching people how to do their part in the fight against human trafficking. I am a national leader, and I've spoken to over 100,000 people, and I wrote the book, How You Can Fight Human Trafficking, Over 100 Ways to Make a Difference. I'm the director for the National Faith Coalition Against Human Trafficking, where churches teach other churches what works in the fight against human trafficking and child exploitation. And you can find the links for everything I just talked about in the video description below. At one human trafficking task force meeting, a law enforcement officer stated that law enforcement is 3% of the solution, nonprofits are 7%, and the community is 90% of the solution. In other words, we are not going to arrest our way out of the problem of human trafficking and child exploitation. This channel focuses on the 90%. This video is an introduction to my channel and the answer to the question, how do we end human trafficking and child exploitation? The answer to that question is twofold. First, we need to build critical mass. Throughout history, social problems have been resolved as a result of enough people engaged in taking action. So how do we build critical mass? The answer is by teaching everyone their part, which is the mission of this YouTube channel. We will have enough videos at the channel that by the end of 2021, everyone, no matter what their station in life, will understand their part. The channel is divided into 3 sections. There are training videos for churches, the community, service clubs, etc. The second section is comprised of interviews with experts, like the one with men, on how to engage men in the fight against human trafficking. The third section includes interviews with heroes and heroines in the fight, like the one with parents who fought for years to get their brainwashed daughter away from her pimp. Their courage and love will move you to tears. In addition to creating critical mass, we need bold leadership. Throughout history, often what it took to create change was courageous leaders. The child predators and human traffickers are ridiculously bold. The FBI is taking down chat rooms in the dark web with hundreds of thousands of pedophiles who sell pictures to each other and share hot tips on how to trick kids and avoid getting caught. The human traffickers are all over social media, attempting to trick kids. They have books, chat rooms, and a strategic business plan. They enroll or threaten 15, 16, 17-year-old kids to work as recruiters on school campuses, with the most common ploy being, you're already doing it anyway. You might as well get paid for it. As a result of all their bold efforts, according to Opal Singleton, a national cyber exploitation expert, over 9,000 children a day, some as young as 9, are sextorted in the U.S., meaning they are tricked into sending child porn to pedophiles. Academics predict that human trafficking will surpass drugs in size in 2 to 5 years, with 80% of victims in the U.S. being U.S. citizens. We need courageous leadership. Are you going to be that person? We need to wake each other up, and we need to engage more people to act, and we need to be bold. For those of you who truly want to make a difference, the purpose of my YouTube channel entitled Winning the Fight Against Human Trafficking and Child Exploitation is to empower you to hit the ground running, to save you the thousands of hours of conversations with hundreds of key people and the research that it took for me to figure out what it will take to create community engagement, which is the key to ending human trafficking and child exploitation. If you are willing to spend 6 to 10 hours viewing the key training videos and expert interviews that will be at this channel by mid-year 2021, and then go out and talk to the human trafficking task forces and nonprofits in your area so you understand what human trafficking looks like in your community, At that point, you will be able to lead a service club, a men or women's group, a church ministry, etc. If you feel called to be a speaker, I will have a video on how to motivate people to take action, as well as a speaker's training and PowerPoints you can use. The last thing I want to share with you is this. In the introduction to the book I wrote, I put, I'm clearly not a writer. So for those of you who are accomplished writers or English teachers, this book may be painful to read. Sorry. However, stepping out without having it all together is one of the themes of the book. If we all waited until we had our act totally together before we stepped out to make a difference, very few people would get help. Many have told me that for them, this was the most inspiring part of the book. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't take the time to educate yourself, and you should not attempt to do something dangerous like street outreach until you have been thoroughly trained by law enforcement. However, for things like doing an anti-human trafficking awareness event with experienced speakers, or hosting a fair trade table at your school or church fair, or asking DCFS to come speak at your church for the purpose of recruiting good foster parents, as over 70% of victims are from the foster care system, these are the kinds of actions where you do not need to hesitate once you've done some research. Just get started. You will learn as you go. What is the worst that can happen? Very few people show up to your event? That happened to me. For my first workshop, my pastor let me promote it at all the services. 2,000 people attend my church. However, on the day of the event, only 12 people showed up. And they were the same 12 retired people who show up for everything. Because 10 years ago, no one believed that human trafficking existed in the United States. So for the second presentation, I had stats from credible sources, and I directed the presentation to parents and told them they would learn how to protect their children from predators. The room was packed. In addition to not being a trained writer, I am clearly not a filmmaker. However, the content at this channel is gold. So please do your part to build critical mass to end human trafficking and child exploitation by going to my channel and getting trained and sharing the videos. Also, please subscribe to my channel and like this video. Thank you so much for watching until the end.